This is Israel Take 3, and I'm David Began. This season has generously been sponsored by the Sclair Family Foundation. Stick with us. Let me try to describe what you're hearing but not seeing. A 26-year-old man standing under the bright lights of a television studio in front of a panel of celebrity judges. He's handsome, tan, shiny bald head, very confident looking. He's wearing a full IDF uniform. His boots are polished, lieutenant stripes on his chest. His name is Shauli Greenglicks. And he's not here as a soldier, at least not tonight. Tonight, he's here as a dreamer. He's auditioning for The Rising Star, which is the show that selects Israel's next Eurovision contestant. And he's singing a ballad from Hanan Ben-Ari, a famous Israeli singer, called A Blind Bat. His parents and his siblings, they're sitting in the audience, beaming with pride, as you can imagine, crying with joy. The judges are listening in awe, with their eyes closed, mouthing the words of this well-known song as they hit their arrow-up buttons one after another. When the last note fades, one of the judges says, in Hebrew, "I'm glad you're in uniform. It makes me feel safer." It's December 3rd, 2023. Shauli Greenglicks has passed round one of The Rising Star, unanimously. But Shauli doesn't return for round two. Instead, just a week later, he chooses to enter the Gaza Strip with his reserve unit, which, as we'll hear soon, he actually didn't need to do. You see, Shauli didn't just choose to sing Hanan Ben-Ari's hit A Blind Bat on The Rising Star because he liked the song. He sang it because it tells his story. Shauli is the blind bat. He suffers from night blindness. What's night blindness? Pretty much exactly what it sounds like. He can't really see at night. And if the IDF knew this, he never would have been allowed into a combat unit. So he simply hid it from them. 11 days after his appearance on The Rising Star, on December 14th, he posts on his social media, "I imagine this year differently, as a year of aspiration and of living my dreams. Now I'm living an old dream, of fighting for the country. The new dream will have to wait." This is Ruti Greenglicks, Shauli's mother. I came to speak with her and her husband Svika in their home in Renana, in the center of the country. We sat in Ruti's therapy office, which is like a side room in their house.
It's not even a question. I mean, I'm not showing off. I'm just saying that's how it is in our house, in our family. That's what you have to do. You have to be there for your Am Yisrael, for your community, for your family. So I think we raise our kids in a way that Am Yisrael it's in their blood. So as a matter of fact, when Shauli decided to leave the contest, he didn't need our advice. He just did it.
I just have to ask about that because that's amazing. I mean, he's a singer. I've seen his videos. He's an amazing singer. I watched the reaction of the judges when he was singing. They were blown away. He had an opportunity to go all the way, to go to Eurovision. And it seemed like it wasn't even a question in his mind when he had a choice between giving up his dream of going to Eurovision in order to go to Gaza. How do you understand that?
It happened to all of us, but after the 7th of October, his eyes weren't the same. Our eyes weren't the same. You know, when you're sure about something and you just don't have a question, that's how it was, because so extreme. And the 7th of October flipped his head, like all of us, over, saying, how could it be that it happened to us? And I must fix it.
So he left to go fight in October, and he came back in to do this audition for Kochav Haba, and then he went back. And then there's a video that went around that was viral also on Instagram where he was home, you were playing music, he came and sits down with you. He has a glass of wine, he sits in front of you, you grab onto him and do not let go. And you're holding on to him. And I was thinking when I'm watching this video that you were holding on to him, and it almost seemed like you were holding on to him not knowing if this was the last time you were going to see him. Was that going through your mind at all, or?
Mamash not.
Okay.
I'm this kind of person that I don't give the imagination to play a role in my life. I mean, I try not to. We had two of my sons-in-law and two of my kids in Gaza, and I decided as like my mother taught me, no news, good news. I'm not going to sink into this terrible thoughts because it wouldn't take me anywhere. And let's be honest, it never prepares you. So why to live like that? And when I hugged him, you see, in the family, there is a joke that I loved Shauli more than any of the kids. We as parents love all our kids, but there are kids that it's easy to love. And Shauli was that.
Shauli didn't return to compete in the next round, and he never made it to the Eurovision competition. Instead, just 2 weeks after his iconic performance on The Rising Star, he went back to Gaza to fight for his people and his country, and he was killed in action in the northern part of the Strip, alongside his friend and commander, Shai Shamriz. This isn't just a story of one fallen soldier. Since the war began on October 7th, over 600 brave soldiers have been killed. Over 600 families have forever been torn apart. Each one leaves behind a world of memories, questions, and unfinished dreams. But Shauli's story sticks with us because it's not just a story of loss. It's a story about a fork in the road, the choice between two callings, one to become a rising star, the other to serve his people. And when it came down to it, as Shauli wrote, now I'm living an old dream of fighting for my country. The new dream will have to wait. In this episode, we'll try to understand what it means to live that way, to put your life and your dreams on hold for something bigger than yourself. What does it mean to be truly alive? What does it mean to give everything? And what does it mean to go on living after? This is the story of Shauli Greenglicks and the light that he left behind. Can we talk about the moment that you found out what happened? Are you able to talk about that?
At 10 to 8, we had a phone call, and it was Shauli. It was about 3.5 months into the war, and he was in Gaza, and these are the times that nobody had phones there, and we were shocked that he called, and I said, why are you calling? He said, I don't envy you to be out of the army. In the army, we know what we're doing. We're happy. We feel that we're improving every day and we're doing the right thing and we're strong. To read the papers, to hear the news, it's terrible. We spoke for a while. And Tzvika has a high rank in the army. Even Tzvika, he really succeeded to convince us not to worry. So we didn't worry. He said, we're doing fine.
Ruti goes on to describe the moment when they first heard about what happened. The whole family was living together at that point because their two married daughters both had husbands fighting in Gaza, and they had moved back home with their young children. And Ruti's son, Roi, was also fighting in Gaza, and of course, so was Shauli.
So after a few hours, I was here working in my clinic, and that's when they came. And when they saw 3 commanders, they said, where's Ima? So they said, who? And they were looking at each other, and they said, well, call Ima. They said, who? Who is it? And he had to tell them because imagine that these few seconds, they didn't know who of the four. And for me, it was I couldn't grasp the fact that I just spoke to him. But then I said, I was screaming. I just spoke to him. I just spoke to him. And then it took time till they reached the soldiers in Gaza. I mean, one of my eldest son-in-law, it took them 12 hours to bring him back. So you can imagine where he was. And Tzvika, it took them 3 hours to find him. He was in Petach Tikva, he was in the computer store. These hours were terrifying for me because I moved to thinking, how are we going to go through this? And I was worried, very worried for Tzvika. I don't even want to remember these hours. But I think that it's something that you, as I said, you can never prepare yourself to such a thing. And then you very quickly have to make up your mind how is it going to look? I think that it's since then we're working at it. We're working on putting ourselves in a place we want and not to be dragged into the situation.
Tzvika said that you were so strong at that moment and that day, and you said from day one, right away, we're not going to go into depression, we're not going to be broken, we're going to be strong, and we're going to get through this together. Do you remember that? Do you remember feeling that way and thinking that?
Yeah. 20 years ago, I was sick with breast cancer. We didn't know how bad my situation was. It was very bad. We had 5 kids, very young kids, at home. And we went to, after a few days, we were shocked. I mean, from one day to another, you understand you're very bad. I was breastfeeding. I didn't even think that something is wrong. You know what the problem is? It doesn't hurt. So we went to a educational counselor, a parenting counselor, saying, how do you convey this terrible thing to very small kids? So she said a few things, and then she said something that back then I was very angry at her. She said, don't pity your kids. And I said, what? I can die. They can stay orphans. This house can collapse. So she was waiting till I finished my terrible crying speech. And then she said, you're right. But have you noticed that people don't like when they're pitied and they, lerachem is to pity on people? I said, right. So she said, kids don't like it either because it makes them weak. If you say, poor you. So am I poor? Really? Am I, the situation is that bad I can't handle it? And I think the day we understood that, we expected from ourselves and from the kids to cope. It doesn't mean you can't cry. It doesn't mean you can't be really under the blanket for 2 days straight. But you have to, in a way, to get your senses together and to rely on your siblings and to cry and to walk on. That happened 20 years ago. I think it's like it's a plant that the seeds were back then. Not that I'm saying it's the same, but it's an emotion of your soul. It's like saying, it's not, 2 options. You're strong or you're weak. It's a way, it's like an arrow you throw. That's the direction. You say in Hebrew, megama. The way to think. It doesn't mean that you're always there, but it actually pulls you to the right place. So in this path, you walk and you fall from rocks, but it's a path, and you make your path. And I thought that we're walking in this path. A lot of things happen in the family, and we say, we're together, we'll hold each other. We have a great big, big family. We're not alone. Baruch Hashem.
What happens when your son is killed in combat and you have another son who's still fighting in Gaza? Does he continue fighting? Or does he stop because it's just too much for the parents to endure? After the Shiva, the traditional week of mourning for Shauli, their son Ro'i came to Ruti and Tzvika with the news. He had signed out of his unit and he was not going back to the battlefield.
Well, it was a very hard decision because we didn't tell him, don't go. We said, whatever you decide, we're with you. And I said, are you angry at us or is it? He says, I'm not angry. It's harder for me to decide, but I think I can't be in this situation where I'm so afraid that something will happen to you guys that I can't be really there as I want it to be.
So he left his combat position not because he was afraid for himself, but he was afraid that if something happened to you that...
If something happened to him, it will be a knockout for us.
I understand, yeah. That's so brave of him to be able to make that decision.
Yeah, he's a fine man.
And he makes good coffee too.
My name is Greenglicks. I live in Ra'anana. In my past, I used to be in the army. I'm a colonel in the army. I used to be a commander of battalion of tanks, 7 years in the reserve army. I'm married to Ruti, and we have 5 children.
This is Tzvika, Shauli's father. He's a lawyer. He lives in Ra'anana, and as you heard, he's a former tank battalion commander in the IDF.
Our 5 children are two girls and 3 boys. The biggest is Rotem, she's married. The second is Michal, she's a singer, and she's also married. The third was Shauli, that was killed last year. And the other 2 are Ro'i, that was in the army until last month.
He's the one that made me the coffee?
Yeah, he's the one that gave you the coffee. And the smallest one is Daniel, and he's now in the army, or he's back in the army because Shauli and Daniel has got a problem. They don't see anything at night. In the dark, they cannot see anything. Their eyes doesn't see anything. No, if it's not big light or something that shines, they cannot see anything. So Daniel, they threw him out from the army, and he pushed himself back. After 3 months, they found out that he doesn't see anything at night. He was in the Sheldag, which is one of the commando unit, commando unit of the Air Force, and they threw him out right away when they found out his problem. Shauli had the same one, but he managed. Shauli managed. Yeah, he took with him lights and.
And the army didn't know?
No, nobody. His friend knew, but nobody from the commander didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, he managed to do it.
So let's talk a little bit about Shauli.
Shauli was playing football very good, and Shauli loved to sing. Every occasion that he had, he took the microphone, and you can see that people are sending us clips of his singing all over the world. And he was also in the Kochav Haba, to the Eurovision. And
Kochav Haba is like it's the qualification to get into the Eurovision.
Next star, the next star to the Eurovision. What Shauli did in the war, during the war, he went to the competition, and then he passed the first stage, and they asked him to come to the second stage. But then the maneuver in Gaza started, and he said that you can come to me if you want, but I cannot come to you. And they said that he has to decide if he's going into Gaza or he's staying in the competition. And he didn't have any hesitation. He didn't even, ask us what we think. He just posted in his Facebook or Instagram, that he's got two dreams. One old one to fight for his country, and one a new one to be a singer. And the new one will have to wait until he will finish to fight, because now we are in the dark and still will see the light. You hope that it will become soon. And with this, our broadcast finished for this season. That's what he wrote in his post. And as we say, he became a singer and a hero in one shot, in one day, in 1 minute. Not many days after the competition, after his first audition, he was killed.
Can you tell us what that song is about? It's about pain, it's about suffering, it's about...
Blind bat. It was a story of himself. He was a blind bat. I don't know if... nobody knew it, but this was his story. He couldn't see. It's about pain, it's about suffering, it's about people that are crying in the car. That's what I'm doing now, you know. Yeah, we don't like this song. We are not listening to this song. Not by him and not by others. It hurts too much. Yeah.
So tell me about what you feel comfortable telling me about the moment, the incident where...
The incident, okay. The day that I was in the office. I was in Petah Tikva. I went to buy a computer. And my daughter told me, Abba, are you in the office? I want to work with you. I want to come to work. She used to come from time to time. I said, okay, in half an hour I'm there. And I sat in my office, and then two officers came in and asked me, are you Tzvika Greenglicks? I said, yes. And on my mind, I was sure that they are going to call me to the army because I'm a colonel. I was sure that here it comes, they want me to join the army. And then I saw my daughter, she came with them. And they told me in the office, I think it was the longest journey that I had in my life. Yeah. You start thinking, what are you going to do? Whom are you going to tell now? What do you have to do? Yeah, terrible journey.
You came home and your wife was here and you saw her.
Came home and my wife was here. We cried together, and we decided that we'll go on the same day, on the same time. We decided that we are going on with the family, and we are not going to break down. And listen, I have to tell you something. We sacrifice our sons not for a good reason, and to be in depression, it's not an option. That's what my wife told us all in the first day. Depression is not an option because it won't bring you to nowhere. The only way is to get strength, to take with you Shauli, and to go on. And this is what we are doing.
Can you tell me, are you able to tell me about what happened exactly with Shauli?
Oh, this is a story that you hear from a lot of people that lost their sons, and there are different attitude. You know, what I'm telling to all the people that I'm going to the Shiva, don't start with the if and buts and what could have happened if they would have this way and that way. They came to show us exactly what happened, where did they go to and where did they come from and what happened, and told them, listen, go and show it to the people that it can happen to them again, to the soldiers or the commander that can learn something out of it. For us, it only will bring us back. It won't make us any. doesn't mean for us anything. We don't care what really happened there, and we don't want to know all the details. We know that they were working okay. Shauli said all the time that Shah Shamris need to get a medal because of the way that he's working. He's working according to the book. He's the best commander. I know, and we know, that they were according to the book. They worked okay. They were okay. They couldn't do it better. And if it's happened, it should have been happened. And we don't care what really was the circumstances and who sat where and who stood where. What can it help? Now, I know that other people wants to know exactly what happened. You know, everybody goes in his own way, and we appreciate it.
Okay, let's shift topics for a minute. I want to talk about the story that brought me to you. So there was this story that was going around on WhatsApp and in the news and social media. It's quite an interesting story. I read the story. I said, I got to find this guy, and I tracked you down. Tell me the story.
I'll tell you all the story from the start without any misunderstandings, okay?
It was a regular morning. Tzvika went to the synagogue, as he does pretty much every day, to recite the morning prayers.
7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I make the turn, not so good, and I hit the car. And, it went into my mind, should I stop now and leave a message, or, you're looking right and left if somebody saw if you can drive on. But then I decided that it's not my way. And I stopped and I left my number with my name, Tzvika. This is my number, please call me. Okay. A lady called and she said, you hit my car. And I told her, listen, I know an Arab in Kfar Kasem. Maybe we'll go there and we'll fix it. I don't want to use my insurance because, it will cost me more than just to fix it in a garage. She said, listen, my guy told me, she called the insurance guy, her insurance guy, he told, listen, there's only one place that I want to do it, it's Gershon. He's got a garage, building repair body repair, and let's meet there. I said, okay, when do you want? And Wednesday, let's go Wednesday next week, okay, 11 o'clock. Oh.
Tzvika agrees to meet her next Wednesday at her mechanic, someone named Gershon, and of course he says he's going to pay for all the repairs.
And on Tuesday, Shauli was killed, and I really forgot it.
It wasn't exactly front and center in his mind. Shauli had been killed the day before, and they were supposed to meet, and understandably Tzvika was a no-show at Gershon's garage the next day.
And I think on Thursday I'm getting a text message. I'm sorry that you're not reliable. We made we scheduled a meeting and you didn't arrive. I hope that you are something different. I was here in the Shiva, there were thousands of people, yes. I took the announcement and I sent that to her by WhatsApp and I said, I'm sorry, let's meet next week. And here is Gershon. Gershon, come here. Come, take a seat, Gershon. You came just on time.
Good to meet you. We're hearing the story about...
Yeah, okay. I'm just in the story I just arrived to the story to the point that I sent her the message that Shauli died, okay?
So I was sitting there discussing the story of the car accident and the mechanic, the story that led me to seek out Tzvika in the first place. And little did I know that Tzvika had actually invited Gershon, the mechanic, the owner of the fix-it shop, to come and join our conversation.
I think 20 minutes later, a lady came she came right to me and she said, listen, I'm Aviva. And she came to the Shiva. 20 minutes after the text, she said, I'm so sorry. She told me that she was in the funeral. And she didn't know that I'm Tzvika, and she didn't know my last name.
Why did she come to the funeral?
Listen, she lives in Ra'anana. A soldier died. She was killed. All the people are coming to the Levaya. Listen, in this Levaya, there were more than 10,000 people, I think.
Are you following what's going on here? Let's recap. Aviva is texting Tzvika while he's sitting Shiva, the traditional Jewish way of mourning. Thousands of people are there, coming in and out, comforting him. He's getting texts from Aviva, asking him why he never showed up at Gershon's garage to fix the car and to pay for the repairs. He tells her that he's sorry, but his son was killed in Gaza. The next thing he knows, this woman, Aviva, whose car he hit, is at his house with the thousands who had come to comfort them. She tells him that she was coming directly from Shauli's Levaya, his funeral. She attended the funeral not knowing Shauli and having no idea that he was the son of Tzvika, who had hit her car and then had stood her up at Gershon's garage. Why was she there if she didn't know Shauli and didn't know the family? That's what Israelis do. They show up for each other, even when they don't know each other. In the beginning of the war, we all attended several funerals a week of soldiers that we never knew. There were so many funerals on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem where the fallen soldiers are laid to rest that they had digital signs up at the entrance with names and times and sections of the cemetery where they were taking place, like a departure board in the airport.
Anyway, she's telling me, listen, about the accident, forget it, it's already done, it's already fixed, don't bother, forget it, nothing happened. She told me in the first place that it would cost between 2,000 and 3,000 shekels in the first place, before the funeral, Okay, I said, thank you. You are in the middle of the Shiva, you don't have too much time to think about it. And then after the Shiva, we decided to go to the south. So in the morning, I sat in a chair and I said to myself, why should she suffer because my son was killed? It's not proper. She didn't make any harm. So I sent her by beat 2,000 shekels. Right after that, I'm getting a message from her, forget it. I'm not going to take the money. I went to Mosach Gershon, to the Gershon garage. He said, no money, nothing. He heard the story and said, we are doing it by ourselves and don't bother. And she didn't pay them and I didn't pay her. And the only one that suffered is Gershon, that's sitting here. He made the joke. Yeah, but did you hear about a garage that doesn't make you feel like a fool and make double the price? You cannot find garage in Israel that is not going to cheat you.
Now you can.
Now you can, yeah, in Ra'anana. And that's it. This is a story. This is a real story. Now, what was the problem? That all when I wrote it in the Facebook, everybody wants to interview Gershon, interview the world. And he decided that he's not going to go to any press, he's not going to be interviewed. Ask him why. So he said that we are family. We have a few brothers that are running the garage for many years. And we had a meeting, and my wife told me, listen, you want to be a tzaddik or you want to be famous? You decide.
Do you want to be a tzaddik or do you want to be famous? A tzaddik is a quiet, under-the-radar kind of righteous person. What he meant was, his wife was asking him, do you want to be on the news or do you want to just know quietly, without the hype, that you did the right thing?
If you want to be a tzaddik, you are not going to any interview. Now, today, after 1 year, I told him, listen, it's not Israel. You're not going to gain nothing. Nobody is going to bring his Buick to your garage and not the Cadillac. And only because of that, he agreed to come.
So this is the first time.
Wow. This is a scoop.
Honored.
This is a scoop.
My first scoop.
Yeah, to get Gershon into an interview, never heard.
Okay.
Say the word, Gershon.
To say the word
Say
Gershon.
Gershon.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we give Gershon the microphone? And let
Of
him tell the story?
course. Let him talk.
Okay. Just try to come. Yeah. Okay. Gershon, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming and taking the time. And we want to hear the story from your perspective. Tell us the whole story.
First of all, maybe I start from the end. The end, maybe I lose money, but I found a very good friend. He take care of me, and I take care of him. We meet every week. We speak a lot. And it's not enough. It's the most value I can offer. Yeah?
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, we are meeting every week in the weekend.
Now, if we can record it, we need a hug.
So we are meeting mostly on Fridays. We are drinking the coffee together in the garage. I'm coming to see him, and this is become weekly.
Wow. That's a great story. Beautiful. Gershon looks just like you'd expect him to. Big guy, hands like engine blocks, shake one and you're marked with grease, faded jeans, a blue work shirt with Gershon proudly stitched above his pocket, worn thin from years in the family garage that his father opened in Renana back in the 60s when it was still more orchard than city. And then there's his smile. Unexpected, actually. Gentle, kind. The kind of smile that catches you off guard in a place where people are usually in a rush or too tense to bother with politeness. He tells me that the 3,000 shekels, just a little over $800, really meant nothing to him. Not compared to meeting Shauli's father, Tzvika. That, he says, was a real gift. A friendship he did not see coming. The money? Details. Now, back to the story.
The lady wait for him in the garage. And she said he didn't come. He make an appointment. He didn't come. What happened? What the ugly guy? He do damage. He must come. He asked me to meet him in the garage and he didn't come. And we wait and wait. And suddenly she said, "Oi, I think it's Greenglicks. I come from the funeral." Oh, and suddenly she managed. And he said, "I don't know what to do." And I said, "What's the problem? I fix the car. I don't take money for it. Leave it. Forget it. We don't want to disturb. He has enough." And she's happy, and I was happy. And you see the end.
So she had come from, I mean, that's incredible. She was at the funeral, and then she came from the funeral to the garage to meet you at the garage.
Yeah.
You weren't there.
And I wasn't there. I
you
didn't
said-
come to the garage.
Of course not.
That's from my point of view.
And what does the story mean to you, and how does it make you feel when you think about it today? And what's the lesson that you can learn, the message of this story? I could see at this point that Gershon was struggling. He had more that he wanted to express, but he was finding difficulty in his broken English. So I told him, switch to Hebrew. You could also speak in Hebrew if you want to say something, if you more...
שאני עושה את זה מדי פעם, שומע שיש בעיה של האיש הזה אין כסף לשלם, זה כאילו, זה נוהג רגיל אצלי.
By this point, Gershon, this gentle giant, this grease-stained tzaddik, is holding back the tears. It's clear that he's been carrying the pain of Tzvika and Ruti and mourning the loss of Shauli, whom he never met. And Tzvika, what would you like to say to Gershon about this?
Listen, I know that this story was exposed all over the world. And, you can look at it as something that can happen only in Israel, I believe.
What Tzvika is talking about is something that we refer to here as the only in Israel phenomenon. It's this strange sort of unspoken social contract where the same person who just cut you off in traffic or elbowed past you in the supermarket will moments later show up for you like you're their oldest friend. It's a genre all its own. Stories like the woman in Machne Yehuda open air market who shoves her way past you to the front of the line. And then, when she sees that you're confused and looking for ingredients, she's suddenly yelling at the vendor on your behalf and scribbling down her grandmother's kugel recipe on a receipt. Or the guy who pulls over when you're stuck with a flat tire. And not only does he change it, but he insists you come for Shabbat if you're ever in Netanya. And he means it. Or maybe it's the message that goes out about a lone soldier's funeral who has no family in the country. By the time it starts, 4,000 people are there. Strangers, neighbors, grandparents, women with strollers, just showing up. It's hard to explain. Israelis can be gruff, impatient, impossible. But the second you're in need, they're there, fully, fiercely. Because underneath all the chaos and chutzpah is a deeper truth. This isn't just a country, it's a family. A slightly dysfunctional, highly emotional, totally inseparable family. And in a family, you show up, no matter what.
People share something together and they feel, like brothers. We are saying, all Kol Israel Achim, all Israel are brothers. And when you're walking on the street or driving in the car, you cannot feel it. You can think that everybody is an enemy. And what people think about garages in Israel, yes, I told you before, that they will cheat you and they'll take double the money. And to see Gershon as a light in all this mess that you look around, it gives you comfort. Because you know that when it comes to a real time that we need to support each other, everybody will be for you. They'll come and be for you. They will be there. And it. When I know now his family, I know his employees, I know everybody there. And this is real Israel. This is the real Israel. That's why we are fighting for. If Shauli was fighting for something, is for friendship. He was a friend. Hundreds of guys came here in the Shiva. Everybody said, Shauli was my best friend. This was the story. And you think, how can he be the best friend of so many people? But he would listen to them, and he was really a good friend. And this is friendship. We became friends. And you see the modesty of the family and of Gershon, and you realize that it comes from somewhere. I don't know, all this family probably has got the same problem. They are good guys. I don't know how they're running a garage so many years. This is inspiring. This family is inspiring.
Tzvika tells me he has another story he wants to tell about Gershon. A few months after the story with the garage and the 3,000 shekels, Tzvika gets this photo from one of his wife's cousins, who was also serving in the army at the time. In the picture, the cousin in uniform with some of his fellow soldiers are standing on a beautiful yacht next to Gershon. Tzvika messages him, "What's going on here?" His cousin explains, "A bunch of us soldiers were invited to spend a day out at sea. It turns out that this yacht belongs to Gershon. He's one of the owners, and he was the one who brought us out." That's when Tzvika realized Gershon didn't just quietly do the right thing at the garage. He's the kind of guy who keeps showing up, volunteering, giving back, taking soldiers out on his own yacht just to give them a bit of joy and escape. And that's just what Tzvika knows about. He's sure there's even more.
Sorry, Gershon.
Gershon, you've been exposed.
Because you are the story. I am the story.
You've been exposed, but you're still a tzaddik. It's okay. Well, Gershon, thank you for coming and sharing the story with us. And next time my car breaks down, I know where to go. Even if Ra'anana is a little bit far from Jerusalem, but it might be worth it. What do you think?
Maybe it's worth.
Shauli Greenglicks, the commando with night blindness, who lies to the army just so they'll let him serve. The rising star, who walked off a national stage to walk back into Gaza, because some dreams can wait and others cannot. His mother, Ruti, who just says, "This is how we raised him," which is probably why on the day that the army knocked on their door, 4 of their sons were all fighting in Gaza. This is the story about a mechanic named Gershon, who never met Shauli, didn't know the family, but when he realized who the customer was, he quietly swallows the 3,000 shekels in repair costs. Why? It was the right thing to do. And then there's Aviva, on her way to the mechanic, who stopped for reasons she didn't even understand to attend the funeral of a stranger who, it turns out, wasn't really a stranger at all. These stories say something about Shauli, sure, but even more, they say something about the country that he died for, about what it means to show up, to do the right thing, even when it costs you something great. Because courage doesn't always look like a soldier in uniform. Sometimes it's a mother, a mechanic, a woman who stops to cry for a boy she never met.